Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And I want to welcome you to our kind of annual website tour. We're going to take you through some of the basics of our website today. And I think all of you should be able to see the website homepage here, kind of scrolling, the banners scrolling in front of you. And if you've got dual screens, I might recommend that you open our website on a different screen so you can watch the tour, but there may be some things that you want to click around on. And sometimes it's just kind of nice to do that simultaneously. And so I want to encourage you to really dig into our website, and you're going to hear today about some of the basic features about our website, as well as we'll highlight some key resources and mention some of the new resources in case you're real familiar with this website. I will pause periodically to allow people to ask questions. Allison will be monitoring the chat, but you can either chat your question in or simply raise your hand, and we will be happy to unmute your microphone. Per usual, all the microphones are muted except for the person speaking, and then the cameras are off. But if you do speak and you're willing to put your camera on, we would love to have you put your camera on while you're asking a question or speaking. That just helps us get to know you a little bit better. So first of all, let's get started with a poll. So I'll ask Allison to hang the first poll, please. And you're going to notice that this poll has 3 questions to it. So once you answer the first question, you'll move to the second one and use the scrolling bar on the right-hand side of the poll to scroll down to the third question. So the first question, how many years have you been in SBEAP or SBO or worked with them? So maybe you're here from EPA and you have worked with SBOs. We want to get to know our audience a little bit better. So thank you for answering those questions. The second question, we're asking you to rank your current familiarity with the website resources on a scale from 1 to 5. This also helps us target our information. It's really important to us that we get this information out to people who maybe are fairly new or haven't had the opportunity to use the website or aren't using it. One of the really important features of our whole program and why we work together is so that you do not have to reinvent the wheel. If it's a product or a deliverable that you're working on, there's a good chance someone in our SBEAP community has done something maybe similar before or has some expertise that could help you. All right, and then as question number 3 asks about the listservs, and so it looks like most people are very familiar with those. Allison, can we... let's see, I think everyone has answered for the most part. So let's end the poll and you can show the results. So right in front of you, let's see, I think I have to, there we go, share the results, there we go. Sharing the results, you will see that the majority of people here have been working with an SBEAP 1 to 5 years, but we do have quite a few who are less than a year. Ranking the familiarity there from 1 to 5, this is good. Most people here are just somewhat familiar with the website. And then are you on the listserv? So this is great. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing that. And if for some reason I didn't do that correctly, someone can just tell me about that. So, all right. So you should be seeing the home page here. So again, thanks for answering those poll questions. What I'd like to do is start with just a little bit of a history, because a brief history of what we call this national SBEAP.org website. It really got first launched in mid-2015. We had been without a website for several years, and thanks to EPA for funding, we were able to, under a contract with EPA, a competitive contract with EPA, K-State Pollution Prevention Institute was able to redevelop this web resource for the SBO and SBEAP programs and for small business resources. We have a website subcommittee that really guides and helps us develop all of our resources, as well as the design and the look of our web page that you see here now. So we want to be the go-to place for communications and operations of various subcommittees, a repository for active and relevant tools and example documents that can be shared with other state SBEAP. Our goal at K-State Pollution Prevention Institute is to promote and increase SBEAP or 507 program communication, collaboration, and capacity. So again, we likely have some resources, so you do not need to reinvent the wheel. The website that you see today was launched in April of 2021. So this is the second revamped website. And again, it was thanks to a lot of hard work from our website subcommittee, contributing to ideas and giving us tips on the types of things that we really needed to focus on and feature. Our website committee in 2020 and 2021 met several times, but on a regular basis, we typically meet 2 to 3 times a year. So if you are a person who would be willing to give fresh eyes and fresh ideas to our website subcommittee, we would love to have you on our subcommittee. We'll probably meet sometime between now and December, but there really isn't a heavy meeting commitment on the website subcommittee at this time. All right, so what I'd like to do is just go through this homepage here, just basic orientation. You can always come back to these words here to refresh your page or get to the home page. And you might notice in the last year, we have added this Google foreign language function. You can choose obviously multiple languages, and it is through Google. We'll get back to the horizontal menus here in just a minute, but this is really the meat and potatoes, so to speak, of our website, that horizontal menu and all the resources. All of these banners are clickable. You can click on them and it will take you to industry sector or whatever the featured banner is there. And Abby Krause, our graphic artist who's letting people in and monitoring the waiting room today, she is our creative behind much of this layout, along with our IT team that we have at K-State. And then Allison Crowther is on the line today. She is recording. You're going to hear from her in just a minute. Most of you know Allison, and most of you know me as well. If I didn't introduce myself before, my name is Nancy Larson, and I'm the director with the K-State Pollution Prevention Institute and the main principal on this project here for the website. So a little bit about us. You can always go there and read more. You can get to us and ask questions through this homepage. We've got quick links here. Many of you have seen this before. And then, thanks to our funding, national SBEAP, EPA, and then K-State. Connecting with us, we have a pretty active Twitter account. Abby runs that for us, and you'll see an example of that in just a few minutes on one of our other sub pages. But over the last couple months, Abby has been featuring each of the states alphabetically across the country and promoting your SBEAP program. And so again, you'll see an example of that in just a minute. But what I'd like to do is turn this over to Allison and ask her to talk us through the National SBEAP YouTube site, because Allison is in charge of this and she's done a great job organizing it. Allison?
Thanks, Nancy. So kind of the idea, the main thing that we do with this YouTube channel is it's an archive of webinars and such that have been put on by subcommittees or as part of annual training. So we have almost all technical subcommittee meetings at this point are recorded and we post those. So that first playlist, that small business technical and regulatory resources, that's mostly technical subcommittee recordings. We also have technical assistance provider resources. So that tends to be things that are more related to, running an SBEAP in itself or national SBEAP. That's where you might find other website tours or annual report, or we've got, measuring SBEAP client impacts, reading CFR, so things like that. So those are generally going to be education subcommittee recordings, or we've got one or two promotion on there as well, and other things that might be relevant. We also have recordings from annual trainings, especially these last three, so 2020 through 2022, since those were virtual, we recorded most, if not all, sessions. So there's a playlist for each of those three annual trainings. So you can find all of those on the website. And most, if not all, of the videos that we have on here are also on the National SBEAP website somewhere, but this is kind of just a good repository to find any videos you might be looking for. Another thing that we've kind of tried to start up is using our YouTube channel to feature SBEAP work. So if you have anything, if you have a YouTube channel and you have something you've put out that you'd like to promote a little bit more, we can add that to our playlist. So you still get those view counts and everything, but people can also see it on our page. And if you would be inclined, we would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see when we post new videos. That's about it. Back to you, Nancy. Nancy, you are muted.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I'd like to just pause there for a second to see if there are any questions or anything that Abby or Allison or others want to add to the homepage here. Did I pretty well cover it?
Yep, you did great.
Okay. Well, we're going to just move right along here. And so, as I mentioned, really these horizontal menus are kind of the meat and potatoes of really where you're going to find all of our resources. So we hope you agree that this has been set up intuitively and you can follow along. So we're just going to go through left to right here and pull out a few highlights from each of the pages that we want you to know about. We want to make sure that you know where to go for these resources. So this is the small business resource page, obviously, and the goal for this page is really just to be a basic landing page that small businesses would come to find relevant resources and assistance. So as I kind of scroll down here, we provide this information about who we are and how we can help small businesses. We talk through EPA's ASBO, the Asbestos Small Business Ombudsperson. That is the office that actually funds this grant that is funding this website and some of the coordination that we do at K-State for the National SBEAP. And then we try to highlight here that if they're needing environmental compliance information, they can just click right there and it will take them over to environmental compliance. And then going through and asking people, if you're a small business, what does that mean? How's that defined? And how can they maybe find their state SBEAP contact? Other assistance that's listed here, trade associations, compliance assistance centers. The other thing I want to focus on and point out to you is the way all of these sub pages are set up is that we've got the main content that you're going to see here. And then on the what we call the left-hand frame, we have usually in the light blue box, we've got the kind of our internal pages. These are internal to our website, so they're content that we have developed. And when I say we, I mean the SBEAP community, mainly K-State is doing the work, but all of you are contributing to it. And then we have these external resources. So, you know, if you click on one of these, it's going to take you outside of our website. And these external and internal resources, they vary depending on which page you're on. But you can see for this page, these are the things that we felt were most relevant for small businesses, right? So community navigator programs, small business development centers, small business administration, OSHA, the ASBO. On this page, we just briefly wanted to take you to a couple of these pages and just show them to you. The sustainability page is really just some very basic sustainability resources. Industry sector are really industry specific resources and links that we have. And then case studies. Allison has been working on the case study page, and she would love to have more case studies to add to this. So if you've got case studies that we can link to, please just send Allison or myself any of your links to case studies, and we would love to add them here under industry specific. And then we have our trade associations, and those are listed alphabetically here with a little jump link that will take you, down so that you do not have to scroll all the way down. We go through and, we do find that some of these links are broken. And so we go through and do links checks on a regular basis and actually do a pretty big overhaul, at least every other year, of all of our resources, every other January. So that's kind of how that's managed. The next thing I want to take you to is really it's always on our top 10 page list, is the state resources. Many of you use these resources, come to this page to find some of your other colleagues and how to get a hold of them. And in fact, if you are a person who has our website open on one of your other screens, I'd ask for you to go and click on your state. We would love to make sure that we've got the state resources properly listed. So if we do not, please send me an email, nlarson@ksu.edu. You can do it through the website, info@nationalsbeap.org, many different ways to get a hold of us. And we'll make sure to update the information that we have for your state contact information. We typically like to have 2. There are a few states who do have 3 contacts listed, but I will tell you, we've had probably 6 or 7, maybe even more state contact changes in the last few months. And so we've been actively trying to keep up with this. We think it's up to date now, but if you would do us a favor and check that, that would be excellent. Or if you know of someone in your region leaving and someone new taking their place, please let us know and we will update the website. So this gets used a lot. So on this page then, we also want to point out that for states that have a compliance assistance panel, a CAP, and not many of them do, but for states that do, we link the CAP information. This page is going to be going through an update, comparing data that we collected under the annual report and making sure that we've got everything on this page. We've got some detail regarding contacting EPA, and then just some more information about, what is an SBEAP. And this is where you can find the Clean Air Act amendments, Section 507, if you would like to find that. All right. The next page here, SBEAP resources, I'm going to spend a little bit of time on. I think this is one of our key pages to help you, especially if you are a new SBEAP, and we do have several here today. And so we want to make sure that you know about the resources on this page. So going through here, we just have linked a whole bunch of resources. One of them is kind of some ready-made material for you. So when I said before that what's really important is that you don't reinvent the wheel, one of the things that we have here for you is a compilation of all the Ask SBEAPs. We update this about each year, and we each month we through K-State put in a short news article in the EPA's newsletter. And so those articles are all put together by topic, and you can go to this Ask SBEAP, download this, and feel free to copy and paste or make it fit what your needs are for your newsletter or your website. And by the way, we would like all of our states to link to our website. That is one thing that we worked on a few years ago, and we haven't revisited that, but we would like everyone to be sure to link to the National SBEAP website. We have a searchable question and answer resource. This will be updated in the near future. But what we do on this is we take typically we do sort through them. We do a little quality control, but we try to take especially the question and answers related to compliance or problematic waste streams or situations that a small business may have that have been posted out on our SBEAP main or sometimes even SBEAP technical. So through the listserv, and we put all those answers to the question and then all those answers together, and it's in this searchable document. This is a new resource that we have here, thanks to the folks in Region 8 who put together an agency partner list for new SBEAPs. So if you're a new SBEAP, you might check this out because it gives you ideas on what are the other agencies that you could be working with in your state to help promote your SBEAP, make sure that they know who you are and what your services are, and vice versa, so that you can complement each other and do referrals back and forth. The National SBEAP, through various subcommittees, have put together numerous different guidelines over the past few years. And then, as many of you may know, if you've been monitoring the SBEAP main, EPA's Office of Air Quality Planning and Standards, we call it OAQPS, they have just put together and have launched a listserv, and they would like people who want to monitor that listserv to join. So that link is right here. They are in the midst of putting together the air quality small business liaisons, and they've been doing some training with different regions. They're launching a new website related to this. It's not quite ready yet. But when it is, we will link it here. So that's the resource you see there. I will also point out that SBEAPs, there's a lot of SBEAPs who are eligible for different types of funding. So there may be a grant you want to write to complement one of your sector outreaches if you have time. And you can go through some of these resources here to find funding, identify relevant funding opportunity. We've recently added some information about environmental justice here, and just recently launched an official environmental justice subcommittee that is working on various issues related to environmental justice and really just trying to educate us as states about some of the initiatives coming out of the White House and EPA related to environmental justice. Another new page that we have that's under construction right now is what we call historic SBEAP resources. And so these are some oftentimes very old resources, but were deemed important enough that we wanted to archive them here. We used to have a Dropbox, but all of those resources have now been taken off the Dropbox, and they do reside on that historic page. Realize that that historic page will is really pertinent for maybe some people on the NSC, maybe a few other people. It would not be pertinent information for you to use necessarily right now to help a client, because it is more historic policy, operational guidelines that have been updated and changed, but we don't want to lose the history of those documents in the process. Okay, so what I also want to feature on this page, and then I'll move on. I know I've spent a lot of time here, but each year the Education Subcommittee has a work group that puts together the annual report. And Belinda Breidenbach from Idaho is on today, and it's her subcommittee that hosted the training yesterday, and then that put together this report through a data collection tool that oftentimes Indiana or Ohio or some of our other regional partners host the tool. And then the data is QA'd and it is published in this format by K-State. So we encourage you to download this and look in about probably December, January, when we'll start collecting data again. But you can read more about the history. There are some archived webinars here, but the annual report is something very important to our SBEAPs, and we do want people to use it to educate your EPA representatives, your state regulators. Look what the National SBEAP is doing as a group. We have metrics training, and we have a new metrics work group. And so please be sure to take a look through this page. If you're required under your state partnership to collect outputs and outcomes, these webinars teach you what the difference is and give you examples of how SBEAPs are able to collect outputs and outcomes. And then the all-important Newcomer Resources. Thanks to Belinda, Donovan, Allison, and Abby for all updating our video this spring. They worked on this, and we've got a new and improved video that we've launched here. And this information is for you. If you are a new SBEAP, we really encourage you to check out this page, listen to the short video, and learn about the history of our program, how it's developed, and how it has evolved. And that will help you understand how your position fits into your state and what you're doing. Okay, let me pause there and see if there are any questions, comments. Allison, anything?
Not seeing anything in the chat or any raised hands.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm just going to move on through. So environmental compliance is the other page that's very popular on our site. And you can see the drop down there, but I'll go to the main landing page for environmental compliance and just walk you through a few of the highlights here, because many of you have already used this. But if you haven't, please be sure to check it out. Some of the featured resources we have here, you're going to find in this left-hand frame. Air Quality Tools by State is a resource that we have where we've gone through each of the states and sorted through their websites to find the different types of emission calculators, or sometimes it is simply some air permitting guidance. So it's tools by state. So again, if you are Connecticut and your tools are not here, or you think something that you've got would be helpful for another state to look at, and you're willing to have that linked through our website, then we would love to hear from you. Please just email us with that. Otherwise, let's say you're coming up on a new industry that you're working with, and you're not sure if there is a tool available that may help you calculate their PTE. This would be a great place for you to take a look. But realize they are state specific, right? So while it may be good guidance and a good starting place for you, of course, you've got to take into account your what your state regulations are. So just going back to environmental compliance landing page, I just wanted to point that out for you. We've kind of got some pages set up so that they're set up by media. So air quality, we've got waste management, it's got some basic RCRA information and tools there. Water quality includes, wastewater and stormwater. And then we've got featured sectors. This area features very popular sectors that the SBEAPs, or common sectors that are, as SBEAPs we often work with. And these are also some sectors who really have some pretty burdensome regulations they've got to follow. And they may be very small businesses and they don't realize that they are under any regulations at all. So that's why this is set up the way it is. You can see these sectors. We have just added a new sector, and this page is under construction, but it is for the construction industry. And this sector may include small businesses that offer residential and commercial remodeling, all the way up to people who do construction on buildings or engineering projects. So we've got some basic information here, and we'll be working to kind of fill this in a little bit. I want to point out something else that we've been working on this year is the foreign language page. And so one of the things that we are collecting, always collecting, are resources that may be in compliance assistance resources, especially that would be in a foreign language. So if your state has that, please share that out to us, and we will review it to see if we can link it here. The next thing I want to just look at are compliance calendars, because I have worked with dry cleaners, I know as many of you have, for several years, and now is the time that we go through our compliance calendars each fall and we decide, gosh, for dry cleaning, do we need to update it? What can I maybe steal from Florida, or not steal, but, borrow and get new ideas from Iowa on how they're doing their dry cleaner calendars, so that I can put a fresh look to our Kansas calendar, and we can improve it, right? Continual improvement process. And this is how we learn. We learn from our other states on how they've done things. We've even been able to share some artwork back and forth, which has been really great. As we developed this page many years ago, but of course we updated each year with different examples, we also realized that, hey, there are several states who have developed these gasoline dispensing compliance calendars. And then we've got other calendars. Florida is a great resource for chrome electric platers and printers. In Kansas and in Nevada, we both put out hazardous waste compliance calendars, as well as underground storage tanks. Minnesota's got above ground storage tank and aggregate facilities, as well as hot mix asphalt. So if you've got a compliance calendar that we can post here, of a different sector or any of these sectors, please send us your 2023, the link to it once you've got it posted, and we will feature it here. I did definitely encourage you to grab new ideas here, both in content. So how are these set up? For communicating complicated regulations like the dry cleaner regulations, but then also, you know, how do they look? What is their design? Okay, next I'm going to go to committees. Most of you or many of you are familiar that the way we operate is we've got a national steering committee. And on that national steering committee, we have a chair and we have a vice chair. And you can see Donovan Grimwood from Tennessee and Eric from Nevada there. And then each region has a regional rep and an alt. They're supposed to, or that's what we go for. There are several regions who maybe just have one or the other. But if you are a newcomer, be sure that you know about your regional rep. And typically the regional rep is also going to host, sometimes monthly calls, quarterly calls, calls 2 to 3 times a year. Sometimes they'll have in-person meetings once or twice a year, and then meetings when we get together at annual training for that region. So those are going to be region-specific types of communication, but really these regional reps are your conduit to information that is flowing from the National Steering Committee or needs to flow back up to the National Steering Committee. Okay, and then from there, we've got different committee pages here. This is our new environmental justice page. Lisa Ashburner Hunt is the chair for that. The way all of these pages are set up is the first paragraph just introduces typically the mission of the subcommittee, who the contact is. So if you'd like to be on that subcommittee, let Lisa know. And then if they've got a regular meeting time, that meeting time is listed there too. This page is brand new, just been published in the last week here. And we'll end up putting all of the minutes and the notes here as well. So technical subcommittee is a very active page here. Taking a look at that, it's set up very similarly. And Mark Stoddard and Jennifer Dixon are the chairs there. This is probably our largest subcommittee with about 70 members. Just because you're on a subcommittee doesn't mean you need to go to each meeting. So if you want to monitor what is the technical subcommittee doing, because they typically have some kind of regulatory presentation each month, you are welcome to get signed up for that. Anyone who wants to sign up for a committee, you talk to the committee chair, email them, and then email us, and we'll make sure you get on the listserv. Because between Allison and myself, we manage the multiple listservs that we have. But you will always see their most recent minutes, and you will see the most recent presentation there. It looks like we don't have August on there yet. But we do our best to get these up to date and keep these up to date on a monthly basis. The news and events page is really where you're going to find annual training, and that's what most people go to this page for. Once annual training is up and running for 2023, this will be your go-to page for registering and all information for 2023. Because in 2023, we will be in Nevada. Nevada is hosting, they have a sub-award, and we are looking for another state to apply and be awarded the $20,000 sub-award to host the 2024 annual training. So if you have questions about that, please get with me this week, because we're looking for letters of interest by next Monday at 5. And that is simply an email of interest. Okay, otherwise, if you're looking for more information, everything is linked here. This would have been the agenda from our 4 different days of annual training in May, and the recordings are linked here, all of the information and the agenda, everything is here. I just want to show you this page, news and events. This is where we'll do some relevant news. And then this is our Twitter feed. You can see that we've got International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste. I know the White House is doing a big meeting today on that. That is going to be publicly presented. I saw it on either Twitter or somewhere on the news today. But here's what I was talking about earlier. Abby is working on Twitter, and she is featuring here the Illinois SBEAP, and you can see Rick and Deborah's name here. And so be sure that if you don't already follow us, please follow us. Abby will also reach out and ask various states to follow us if you aren't already. And then finally, I'll just show you the calendar, and then we're going to wrap this up. We do like to post events on this calendar, so we try to post our subcommittees or work groups on this calendar, as well as things that come across the main listserv that are relevant and of interest to our SBEAP. So if you've got, so for example, Ohio is having their virtual conference this week, and we've got that posted here. If you've got events, please share them out to Maine or share them out to us directly, and we'll get that picked up and put on this calendar. Okay, with that, I want to take a minute now just to ask Allison to release the next poll, please. This poll has 4 questions. And so we're asking you, now that you know a little bit more about the website resources through the tour, which ones do you plan to use? And you can check all that apply, I believe. Great. Super. As we move through question 2, after taking this training, how familiar are you with the resources? What we're trying to demonstrate here is learning. So what's the change between when we first asked you this question at the beginning of the training versus the end? And so thank you so much for answering these. And as you scroll, continue to scroll down on your laptop or computer screen. We're asking about our web resources. How important are they to your profession? Will they help you with your work? Because that's our intent. And we want to make sure that we've got information for that. And then, will your resources improve compliance and your compliance assistance to the small business communities? Okay, Allison, it looks like we've got the results there, so we don't need to show those. Let's just go to the next poll. Okay, this one is where you are able to type the answer in. Any special instructions on this, Allison? We're asking you, what resources should we add to the website? What's missing here? So we'll give you just a couple minutes on that. Anything you can think of that's missing? Great, thanks to those of you who are answering it. All right, we'll just give it about 5 more seconds. If you've got a comment you want to add here, that would be great. And I have one, I believe I have one last question. Okay, we've still got some people answering. Thank you. All right, let's end that poll and put the last poll up. How can the K-State team, Abby, Allison, and myself better serve you as a small business or small business, an SBEAP, SBO, and then by extension, your small business communities? So we really want to help you to be able to better serve our small business communities. The primary people and users of this website are the SBEAPs and SBOs. We do have some small businesses who use it, but we really market it to SBAPs and SBOs. We do some marketing through SBA, lots of acronyms there, Small Business Administration, and through EPA. We do some marketing to small businesses, but obviously most of our resources are for you, the SBAPs and SBOs. All right, let's give that just 5 seconds here and we'll end the poll. Great. Okay, thank you so much. We will publish all the poll results on our website as well as the recording for this training. Are there any questions, or raise your hand if you'd like to open up the mic? We are happy to do that. All right, if there are no questions or comments, then we will end our training for today. I want to tell you thank you so much. A special shout out to our K-State team, Abby Krause and Allison Crowther. Many of you know them. And also a shout out to the website Subcommittee. Thanks everyone, and thanks to EPA for the funding and the support so that we can facilitate this website and other related resources. Have a great day.